Hi, I'm Phil Ranta, the host of NFT Stories podcast. Every week we tell another story from this multi-billion-dollar market alongside the artists, collectors, companies, and entrepreneurs that are making it all happen. If we've learned nothing else from the past week in the NFT market, it's all a gamble. Monetary value can come and go in the blink of an ape's eye. For those who are holders for the long term or in it for the utility or community, they may not have noticed. But for those who are hoping to build generational wealth, they're having a very, very bad time. So what better time to talk about how NFTs are used in gambling? But I'm not talking about NFT value speculation or am I going to mint a common PFP or a legendary? I mean Vegas style, double down, let it ride kind of gambling. If you've ever been to Las Vegas, you've surely seen every casino has their own loyalty card. The longer you gamble, the more likely you are to get a free breakfast or a comped room. And it's a great deal for the casino. If you drop $1,500 playing blackjack, they should probably buy you some pancakes. So why not reward in NFTs? Create a hierarchy for loyal customers that can rank up based on their spend so they can get the best perks. And is this going to be the norm? Or is this too confusing for the market? David Sun and MC Tang from Luckmon are trying to hit the jackpot in this market. They've already raised $600,000 to rule gambling in the Web3 space. They're exceptionally thoughtful in this space, and for those of you who lost big over the past few weeks, maybe you should look them up and bet the rest on black. I would like to welcome David and MC to the NFT Stories podcast. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, are both from... Yeah, of course. They're both from Luckmon, which is a fascinating take in the NFT space. So I got a chance to sit down for coffee with David. He got to explain to me a little bit about what they were doing. But in this episode, we're really talking about kind of how casino games could be revolutionized by all of this crazy blockchain and NFT technology. So I thought there'd be no better people to talk to than this. So to start, casinos have kind of always had that incentive program, right? You give them their card, they put it inside the little machine, you play blackjack, they give you t-shirts, they give you rooms, they track it. So it kind of feels like the start of what NFT programs could be like. Is that kind of the inspiration for where you've launched into NFT gaming?
Yes and no, exactly, because we're trying to be a little more counterculture to a lot of things that's happening in the industry. We're definitely trying to do something closer to what traditional casino have done, where they have loyalty program, utilities for NFT. Like, how does that correlate towards users, and how do we really present a premium product, as well as providing leg room for someone to grow and really enjoy casino products? Because as we've seen over the years, for the demographic has been shrinking because our grandmas and our moms are kind of aging out and they can't really go to casino. But with the advent of mobile casino products out there, it's just been so much easier for them to stay at home, hang out with the kids, hang out with the dogs, play a few slots here and there, drops I guess the whole entire pension in a few in-app purchases, But I think with the revolution of blockchain and NFT, it's going to give opportunities for not only moms and grandmas to continue enjoying the slot experience, but as well as bring new generations coming in where we're really focusing on the entertainment value of the product on the Luckman side. And it's very aligned towards what the casino in Vegas and Macau are doing, where they're becoming the entertainment central of the world. And it's not just about volatile revenue generating, but providing that ecosystem for users to come in, have a great time, have a cocktail and a room on us.
I love it. And I have to admit, I've been guilty of playing the casino games a little too much on the phone because it's fun, right? You're waiting in line for the bank. You could pop open one of those, play a little bit and jump out. I don't have to take a flight all the way to Vegas for it. It's just kind of right there, but you get the same kind of dopamine hits, endorphin rushes, whatever it is. So, but where does the NFTs come into it for the layman? Because a lot of people think of NFTs as like Bored Ape Yacht Club. And so are these kind of like badges, or are these the equivalent of the coins you get, or what does that look like?
So I like right now there are a little bit of apples and oranges. I could talk about Board Ape Club
Hmm.
because Board Ape Club is like an exclusive NFT club where they were like probably the second most popular one right after CryptoPunk, and it has been just shooting out into the stratosphere because of like how well known they are. But they've added like utilities of like, oh, you have a chance of going on a yacht and meeting like George Clooney or whatever perks they want to like roll into that. And we've seen inspiration and copycats like the current like I'm not. I'm sure you are a big basketball fan, like the Golden State Warriors, where Steph Curry had made that like the broke the record for the best or the most amount of 3 pointers, and he has created an NFT collection based on that, but with the utilities of perks of getting free stuff from him, get like some special events, and sometimes like some of these could roll into like charity organizations on to bring awareness of it. So there are so much utilities of how people are using their NFT, and it's really up to them as a creator and for audiences who are fans of the creator and or their mission that why should we invest in these specific products or these NFT, and how can we grow from that? I think that's like more of the nurturing side, and that's how goes into the spirit of like Web 3.0 when it's very decentralized and everyone profit from it, and not just the big companies.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought up the Steph Curry example, because it does feel like early days of NFTs were, look it's a picture and you can buy it, it's on a blockchain, it's novel, right? And then it kind of transitioned to this like, great, I can buy this thing, but then what does it do, right? The Board Ape Yacht Club gets me into like the coolest party at NFT NYC and Drake's gonna perform, or I get staking rewards, so I'm actually making money by holding on to this thing. Do you see the casino games NFTs as kind of being the same, where as you get rewarded, you're getting more and more utility?
Oh, definitely. Just like our ISP plans, with like whether you're you with AT&T or like T-Mobile, right? Sometimes you have a great plan, like hey, give me like $100 for one line, and you have like infinite data. Now they when your once you have that, your grandfather in, and they can't really go back on that specific contract. Now, do you change that and go for it with another plan? So it really depends on like what NFT you sign up with and which one you're holding, right? And right now it's almost really interesting where some people are in it to collect the art aspect of it. They're in it to be the cool kid, like hey, I was in this first, but with more NFTs and with more project coming up, they're adding all these perks to it, and some of these companies are allowing for you to separate whether you want to keep the perks, but you can still sell the digital art on the blockchain. So it's just a really really fun time to be for someone to just collect these specific rewards, and for like in casino definitely imagine like MGN, they own several casinos, and if they have the MGN NFTs, it's so easy for them to turn on the knob like hey, whoever got these the super premium NFT, you guys could get like say in our luxury penthouse suite for like 2 weeks every year, and people are like I'm in. How much is it? 200K easy. Let's go.
I love it. Yeah. So, I mean, it kind of alludes to the fact that the way that kind of pricing and incentives will be formalized or organized is going to change through NFTs. Do you think that's going to change the way people think about casino games? Are people going to be like, well, now I'm not just optimizing for revenue, but I'm optimizing for also winning these NFTs? So it's almost like a dual incentive. Is that going to kind of change the mindset?
Okay, I'm going to answer your question, but let's just take one big step backward and look at the bigger
Okay,
picture. Okay, so when
sure.
we're at the land casinos, when we hit that jackpot, everyone comes around and like, wow, this guy hit that big grand jackpot, $100,000, and just get that dopamine not just from the machine, but the high from everyone. Now you translate that into a digital space of what do people do when they win something big? You see, it goes viral online.
Mhm.
Same thing with NFT. If you got the golden ticket for the Willy Wonka factory, and the fact that you could post it on social media, it just draws in so much eyeballs onto your product or your specific NFT. Your NFT could have only cost you $10,000, but with the users' engagement of social media, TikTok, it could go into hundreds to millions of dollars in value. The fact that that NFT is associated to that win, towards that perk, and that's why people are able to hit up like Eminem, Drake, and those guys, and pretty much get those guys to buy those NFT. It's not because like they're really interested in it, because that itself brings press.
Mhm. No, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of feeds into we talk about it in the social media world a lot, is that a lot of the incentives of creation is fame, fortune, and fun. In the casino world, it's been a lot of fortune, and a lot of fun, but the fame part is very localized, right? Like, I won, and then the people in the casino can cheer, but like, and then you could tell the story to your friends, but it doesn't. So is this like a way to memorialize that moment and amplify the moment through a digital asset?
Oh, definitely, definitely, because you're associating yourself with that specific NFT, which is on the blockchain, will exist until the end of the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
like everything online, it never goes away. It's always there. And now with blockchain, if you're doing if you're NFT and you yourself had gone this huge success, everyone will remember. Wow, that was the first person who worked at a McDonald's as a janitor. Well, he pulled the biggest NFT from MGM. That is worth 100,000 at that point. 10 years later, it could worth even more now.
right. Absolutely. Yeah. So your company's approach to this market is, it sounds like it's very rooted in the kind of the mobile gaming space, but with these additional incentives. Is there also cash incentives, crypto incentives, or is it kind of based around we are doing the mobile thing and then the NFT thing?
We are definitely not doing cash per se, because like that's definitely like a big red flag, and that's not
That's
how
what I figured. It
how this
felt illegal.
right.
Yeah.
But I think right now we are definitely focused on the more the reward side of users, as well as providing them with a like unique collection of NFT. Like think about like Pokemon cards or baseball cards back in the days when you're collecting NFTs. Our ones would be like really highly premium with utilities within our ecosystem. Like, hey, if you have these NFT, you have more bonuses, like digital tokens or sneak peeks or even exclusive machines that you could play and grow your collection as these value. But as you grow this collection, like because they're limited quantity and rarity, in time they could go up to value, and you could do whatever you want with it. But for now, we're not. They're definitely not a 1-to-1 exchange for a dollar amount.
Right, right. So with success, I imagine in 5 years, people will continue playing, unlock the machines, continue growing, and then you're going to have to keep finding more and more stuff to do with the whales, right? It's one of the hardest parts of mobile gaming, right? Is if somebody's playing a mobile game for 6 years and they're the really sticky ones, you want to super serve those people. But it sounds like in this one, you're just going to have to keep getting the bigger and bigger incentives. So do you think about what happens if somebody's playing 10 hours a day? What's going to happen 5 years later?
Oh, definitely, because like we know that sometimes when you're really interested in a sport, let's say you're like a super fan in basketball. A lot of times you also play fantasy football, like oh man, or fantasy drafting, where if I have these players on my team, this is what I would do. So it shouldn't stop us if we're doing like digital land sale and someone could like own one of our machine, like for their version of staking. So imagine they pay us like, hey, I want to like franchise out one of your machines and run my own servers, and I'll get a cut from it. So we could easily turn like those type of situations together.
That's cool. I mean, it sounds like a new way for people to use their celebrity. And in Web3, the way that celebrity's defined has been strange, right? I try to explain to people that, somebody who owns a Bored Ape might be more famous than Brad Pitt to a Web3 person. And you just have to accept that and understand that. So it sounds like this is also going to develop its own kind of ecosystem of fame in a way. Maybe outside people won't understand it, but on the inside, super premium, super, super cool.
Oh, that you hit on a great topic where if you ask kids nowadays below 18, 20 years old who Brad Pitt is, and they're like, I don't know, some guy my mom likes, right?
Right.
But like when you show a kid like, oh my god, you have a blue check mark, they're like they think you're like the greatest invention since like sliced bread.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I am verified on Twitter, not to drop that, but I got verified through the executive track, and I get random kids reaching out to me all the time saying, "Are you famous?" And I'm like, "No, I build companies, but somehow I got the blue check mark." But yeah, it really is one of those things where like, and then of course the natural follow up is, well, how'd you get it, or can I buy your profile, right? Like the blue check mark is a signifier that they did something, in the same way that NFTs are kind of becoming a signifier that they're like smart, forward thinking. You rule the roost inside of this ecosystem, so it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. I think the big thing is just trying to like normalizing stuff where right now every blockchains, crypto, NFTs, it's becoming more and more mainstream, but how you get into it is still very esoteric to most populations out there, right? But when you standardize things like you having a blue check mark on your Twitter account or your NFT, people validate that like, okay, this is a legit product. So for us, if we have like VIP who collected like our entire collection for what for like season one, they're like, oh, we give them like a gold badge, like a people are like, whoa, premium users right there, right? It instantly give social credibility. And how are we going to communicate this new language towards our audience as it grows is very important for like for branding and for consistency.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds very in line with a lot of other gaming, right? I mean, the people in Fortnite, they really value their levels. They really value what kind of outfits that they buy or skins. I mean, it really started when PlayStation and Xbox started doing online communication of your trophies, right? And then people started using that as a symbol of what they do. So, if should casino gaming be viewed through a traditional gaming lens, or do you think that it's kind of a completely different lens?
Casinos. So a lot of times we draw inspirations from traditional land-based casinos for what they're doing in Las Vegas and Macau because they have millions of billions of dollars of doing tests, as well as we could see actual case studies of running tournaments. So if a users have been playing with us and they decide to join the VIP tournament, in order to join our VIP tournament, you have to have at least 10 of these collection. And it says, I got 10, I'm in. How much is the pot? 10K. Let's go.
That's
Right.
cool. That's
So there are things that who could pull from both ends. Whether it's like that's the thing with the great thing about social casinos or like creating digital casinos, right? We could pull from the land base as well as getting inspiration from other game models out there.
I love it. And I know you're starting in slot machines, but I have to ask, are you going to move into my favorite Texas Hold'em or my second favorite Pai Gow? Are you going to use this as kind of a template to how you can spread out to other kind of casino games?
Definitely, we definitely want to be like the pioneer and the forerunner in the social casino or casino product space. But we definitely want to target towards slots for because like that's the biggest audience, that's the easiest for most accessible for most users to come in because all you need to do come on in, hit hit spin to win, and just see all the lights, all the flashes go right, and just enjoy that moment. While when it comes to like I myself, I'm a card person, right? I love playing blackjack. I love baccarat. All these card games, a bit of strategies, a little like psychology, but those lean more towards PvP, like playing against other players, right? Zenga's in the past has done a great job with Texan Cooldown, has been a fan favorite. Like and now, how can we like really capitalize on those success in those type of video game format and transform that into an NFT experience? Because you cannot just use that same model and just turn on the NFT switch. It doesn't work like that. It's a brand new generation of players. You have to educate them. And who knows, we might even reach out to Uno and say, hey, your game's a lot more fun towards the audience that we've grown and we survey. Can we like partner with you guys on an NFT project that's not related to casino and that might even work out better than Texan Holdout, right? So the thing is that we there's not enough data or signals out there to whether or not something would fail or succeed, but the biggest thing is like understanding what is the highest chance of success is based on like how can you grow your audience, how you like as you build your products, you have to be dynamic and fluid to grow the model with them and knowing understanding like what they like, what they don't like in this specific product.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like nobody can talk about NFTs without talking about the future of a metaverse. Oftentimes in the metaverse, people use corollaries to the real world, right? Like, well, Facebook is a town hall, or sometimes it's considered a living room, or Decentraland is a fully virtualized space, but it's kind of like a theme park, and people can build on it. Would you say that Luckmon is trying to be the Las Vegas? Is it hopefully a virtualized space within a dominant metaverse someday?
Oh boy, that I that would be so fantastic. The fact that I could put on my Oculus Rift or I could jack into the Matrix, right, and just like enjoy the space and the excitement that we would love to envision and help create. With it is very different. Whereas Vegas is definitely transforming more of an entertainment hub and just like focusing on casino, right? With just the surge of the number of hotels that's opening up and the things that you could do. Yes, like casino product is a way to draw audience in, but like how do you keep them there, right? Slots does a really good job because there's like so much entertainment value for you to do very little, right? But like, how do you get users to stay on your platform more? Do you create like social features? Do you engage them in other ways with like services? Like, do you send them like a DoorDash or Instacart? Like, hey, Luckman just sent you a free club soda from Trader Joe, right? Like, how do you engage your users? How do you keep them in your ecosystem? Is like the big question. There are just so much hurdle to go around. Like, have you ever tried using Oculus Rift before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I used to work at Facebook, so I think that it was a requirement to at least put it on once a week.
And how long do you have it on? What's the longest session?
15 minutes maybe. I get sick very easily, so my stomach turns, especially when things move too fast, my stomach turns.
Right. So I honestly think, in my humble opinion, it's just like VR, it's just so far in the future. I think it still has like 30 to 50 years. Because right now, there are just a lot of barrier entries. One, the fact that it's not very comfortable wearing it. The sensation is not there. It's not worth it. Like, your 2D screen is more than enough than having a fake three-dimensional space. Unless someone really could invent like Neuralink that you could really jack you in like the Matrix, then it's a whole new world. The other problem is Oculus Rift is very expensive, still marked as $300 or hundreds of dollars in order to buy that. And in order for proper growth, you have to have that technology accessible to the broader generation of people. And when you look at TikToks and those apps that are growing and booming, it's the most of the population that's feeding the growth are kids who have no money, but they have infinite amount of times to grow your app in terms of popularity. So like, I don't really see having a very expensive device and how that's going to really feed into the metaverse unless it's like government subsidized or Facebook or Microsoft or whoever just give these things out for free like candy.
Right, and I always worry about the spatial awareness problem. Like, will we ever be able to get away from the point where I know I'm in a human body, but I can't see anything around me, and there might be a murderer or a predator? Like, I get paranoid inside of it, and I know I'm not alone. I'm like, I want to check my phone, right? Like, I just want to know what's going on. So, no, I think that's a very well stated point. Well, if you guys... I know we've talked a lot about Luckmon, but if you guys want to tell everybody where they can get more information on your awesome product, you feel free to pitch now.
Well, of course. Like, so we have our Twitter, our Facebook group, as well as our website. They're fairly new, so don't focus too much on the graphic, but the spirit that's in the product currently. And we're working very hard on a lot of really exciting projects that we'll be sharing with the world very soon. That's much more just beyond casino product. We love casino product, but we also have some really exciting platform and some really innovative thing that will be shared coming soon.
I love it. Make sure to check that out, everybody. David, Son, and MC Tang, thank you so much for being here. Really excited about the future of NFTs and casino games.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having us.
This episode of NFT Stories Podcast is hosted and produced by me, Phil Ranta. Theme music is by Mike Constantini, and we're made possible by our friends at We Are Verified. This episode has now officially been minted. See you at the next drop.